Hello, you are listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm the Mallory and Mallory and Friends, and welcome to this show. This is a fabulous pop culture podcast where we talk a lot about femininity and faith and all of the intersections. So, we're talking relationships, career, pop culture, love, marriage, anything you can think of, periods. We talk a little bit about periods here. We're talking about it all. This is a very different episode. We're trying something a little different now. Let me know what you think if you like episodes where it's just me chit-chatting about what's gone on this week. Well, I guess it's going to be more than chit-chatting. I have a lot of opinions on a bunch of things that I absolutely have to share. And I want to know, like, if you guys agree with me, if you think what I'm saying makes a lot of sense. You can leave comments on the YouTube or Spotify or on Instagram. Reach out to me, email me, message me, whatever, however you want to get in contact. I want to know if you're feeling the same way about a lot of these topics. The real purpose and meaning of this podcast is just to share the opinion from a Christian conservative perspective on a myriad of topics that we're having with our girlfriends every day, to help educate you guys on something that you might not know, and then to help equip you if you're having a conversation, for example, about abortion, and you want to make sure you're making educated statements and the likes. So that's really the purpose of this podcast. I'm saying we because I have guests on, at least try to have at least one guest once a week. Sometimes, getting guests can be a little tricky. So sometimes it's just the Teacap, which is what this is. And we're doing our Teacap this week on a Monday. Let me know how you feel about a Teacap on a Monday. Saturdays are still for Teacaps, like, don't get me wrong. But let's see, how do you feel about Monday? Kind of like recapping everything that happened last week. And then if anything juicy happened this weekend, which unfortunately it didn't. I was hoping. Well, I had some personal things that I will be talking about that happened this weekend, but nothing like juicy pop culture. So yeah, you guys, welcome. I'm excited that you're here. I hope that you find a home with the other girls. We are a different type of girl. We're Christian conservative, and we speak the truth in grace and in love, and we care about each other. We care about humanity. We prefer to be Christian above anything else. And so yeah, I guess I should just get started. If you have not already, you should make sure you go ahead and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Follow, like, however you interact with whatever app you're listening on. Let me know on the little chart things. It'll say like Apple, Spotify, and other. So I'm curious, like, what the other is. So if you're listening not on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify, let me know. Somehow contact me because I'm curious. I'm curious how you listen. I'll probably even do a poll on the Instagram. I'm just curious how everybody listens. So yeah, we have a merch store, really cute merch. I don't have any with me. I left my cup, so like I hope I can talk this whole time without needing water. I left my cup. I don't have it with me, but we have really cute merch that's available at thosearethegirls.com/merch. Okay, so let's get started. First thing I want to talk about is last weekend. So, last weekend was Halloween. And, I know it's been some time and people are probably tired of talking about like Halloween, but I want to say I love costumes. I love a time to dress up. I did not this year because I was in a wedding. My best friend from high school got married, which is really exciting. I want to talk about that for 2 seconds. It is really great. So those of you who have friends that date guys that you're like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. Like, she just has such terrible taste in men. It feels really good when your friend finally gets it right. Like, I definitely think that I know my friend married a guy that genuinely loves her. Doesn't just like tolerate her, because that's another thing too. I have friends that I feel like date guys that like tolerate them. No, ladies, you need a man that loves you. And I'm gonna say something controversial. You maybe agree, you maybe not agree, but the man needs to like the girl a little bit more. I don't mean like stalk her and be annoying about it, but like he needs to be more excited when she comes up for it to work. I'm telling you, like that's just what it needs to be. And the relationships where it's obvious that the man realizes that he loves her more, and even realizes that, not necessarily that he married up, because I don't really believe in all that, like, be with people who you want to be with. Like, that's another thing too. There's a lot of, especially online, a lot of relationships, and to be honest, like, I've seen a couple people in real life like this, but a lot of relationships where it's like they don't like each other. So then why are you together? Like, just be with someone who you want to be with, and be with someone who has the same standard as you. What do I mean by that? The perfect example is, like, personally, I want a big engagement. Like, if I were to find someone, I would want our I would want the engagement to be like everyone in like 10 towns over knows that this girl got engaged. I want something big. That's something that I like. I have friends that want something small, like very private, intimate, their family there. I love my family, but I don't really care if they're there or not. So, like, I should be with someone that would want to do something big. I probably shouldn't be with someone who wants to do something small. Now, I don't mean that if that's the only thing we don't have in common to break up with them, like, that's stupid. But I mean, that also kind of connects with my personality. I like big, elaborate things. I am kind of a big, I'm kind of a bold, elaborate person. So, ideally, someone who would like that should be with me. Someone who doesn't like girls like that, it wouldn't make sense for them to want to be with me. I see a lot of times, especially guys doing, like, guys asking girls they think are very hot, but their personalities don't mesh, but they're trying really hard because they're hot. And I see a lot of girls accepting that because they don't want to be alone, which I trust me, your girl gets it. I don't want to be alone either. But, I think when you do that, it makes you're just not as happy as you could be in a relationship. Now, if you got married, you're married, work through that. Counseling's important, getting good Christian biblical counseling and, like, having a good pastor or someone to talk to about that is what you need to do. But if you're in the dating phase, I would just be with people, like, be with someone who you genuinely like. And that's your dating tip for the week. Also, side note, as you can tell, let me see. I don't know if you're watching, I'm wearing kind of a square neck top, another one, and it's in cranberry. And if you were listening to last week's Teacap, we discussed fall fashion, and, like, I'm really in right now. Like, this is what's in the outfit I'm wearing. I'll post it on the Instagram. Don't you ladies worry. It is in right now. This is what's, like, the cute for fall, and as we said, fall is for the sensual. So just something I'd let you guys know. Okay, so that's what I was saying about Halloween. I do not personally like. I didn't grow up celebrating Halloween. We did Halloween night. I think I've probably said that a bajillion times. And if you know me personally, you know that story. But I like dressing up. One thing about me is when I one day, whenever I have, like, a house, like a nice size house, I will be having some sort of themed party once a month. So if you're my friend and you're listening to this, just be prepared for that. You don't have to go to all of them. I'd prefer if you did, but you don't have to. There will be some sort of themed gathering. I love a theme. I love dressing up. It is so fun. And you know what's also interesting? I know that I like it, and I know there's something wrong with me liking it, and I know other people like it, but I feel like no one else really, like, talks about it. Perfect example, tea party things. So for those if you're just now listening, we're just now starting, and one is coming up. I'll talk about that later. We are going to do, like, group tea parties. Now, what does this mean? You're dressing up. We'll pick different themes. The last thing we had was garden party, so everyone wore pretty dress. You didn't have to wear pink. I wore pink because pink's my color, in case you couldn't tell. Well, you might not if this is your first time watching. Pink's my favorite color, so I wore pink, but you didn't have to wear pink. You could wear whatever you wanted to wear. But the idea was garden party, and everyone was looking super cute, and, like, some girls were saying how they absolutely loved it, and they don't really like to dress. They don't dress up a lot. And it's like, we all do. We all kind of like it. And I love being the person to, like, initiate it. My birthday party last year, the theme was 2000s, so, like, movies, TV, or just, like, a character from 2000, or a celebrity from the 2000s. And honestly, I think everybody loved it. Two of my friends, one was Paris Hilton and one was Britney Spears. I think they killed it. Oh, another one of my friends was Lily from Hannah Montana. Actually, two of them, and then another one was just, like, a 2000s girl. Like, people, we all went out. Well, all the girls went out. My friend, she dressed her husband up, and I appreciated that. They looked great. And they were kind of like a 90s, how in 2000s some people were, like, really into the 90s still. They were like the 90s 2000 people. And they looked fabulous, and I'm thankful for her making her husband dress up. The guys didn't really. My brother wore, like, a soccer jersey with, like, the word 2000 on it, and I was like, okay. And then my other friend, actually no, I'm lying. Two of my friends did dress up. I'm just trying to remember what they were. I don't know. As girls, like we take things to the next level. Paris Hilton and Britney Spears, though, chef's kiss. Anywho, all that to say, saw a lot of really cool costumes last weekend. I mean, 10 out of 10, some people. I think the ones where you dress up are, and you like actually like put effort into it, those are fun people. I saw, it was this TikTok, it's still going viral. I don't know if you guys remember that video of the white lady with the short black hair that was teaching hip hop. It's one of the most cringiest things you'll ever see in your entire life. And she dressed up as her and like did the whole video. Hilarious. I mean, that is what I'm talking about. I just had this thought. The next party I have, I think I wouldn't do like, you have to be a meme. Everybody has to dress up as a meme. That sounds funny. I've seen those on TikTok and Twitter. Hilarious. I love when people go full out. So that's weddings, Halloween. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to talk about, like in my personal life. That I am going to say, like almost like a monologue, or stream of consciousness at the end about something that is going on in the conservative movement that I really feel like I want to address. I've addressed it on my Instagram, and I'm going to address it here as well. But I'll do that at the end. I think that's it, I guess, without further waiting. I would say further ado. If you listen to The Toast, I'm a huge fan of The Toast with Jackie and Claudia. That's what they say. Sometimes I have to catch myself, like I don't want to take their language. I have been saying 100% though since high school. I just want to say that. But they say 100% a lot. I say 100% since I've been saying that since high school. So but like sometimes they say stuff, I'm like, ooh, that's a fun thing to say. And then it gets like in your vocabulary, but I don't want to do that. Like I want to have my own vocabulary. Okay, so I guess without further ado, normally I have a cup and we toast, but I don't have that today. Because not everything's always going to be perfect. So here we go. These are some stories that we absolutely have to talk about that have happened this week. For those that do not know, if you have not seen it, I will link it. You have to look up. Walmart did a ad with the ladies of Mean Girls. So Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Seyfried, and Lacey Chabert, as well as Damien and why am I forgetting his name? Kevin G, the guy who goes, who does the rap and then goes, I love the way you check that thing. Which, funny story. So, okay, at the end of the movie, he makes a comment like, I love women of color, something like that. And he says to Janice. And I remember looking at Janice like, is the color of the room with us? Like, who, what? Y'all, okay, all right. Here's something I learned last year about Mean Girls. So, when Regina's like, yeah, and she's a lesbian or something. She didn't say lesbian. She said she said Lebanese. So Janice is Lebanese. Lebanese is someone who's Lebanese is technically a person of color, which is also interesting because I do know a couple. I know like one girl who's half Lebanese, and I know her mom, and I will say they are pretty light. Like I wouldn't have guessed that they were Lebanese. I thought they were white. So I do wonder why. I mean, I don't know too much about Lebanon, but anyway, my whole point is like, so Janice is Lebanese, so she's a person of color. Also, so yeah, so I didn't know that. That blew me for a loop. I think I don't know what I thought about Janice, like what that. I think I wasn't sure if Damien was gay. I want to say I didn't think he was gay. I just thought he was like flamboyant. Okay, so I haven't even gotten to the story yet, but I wanted to tell you guys this story. So the first time I saw Mean Girls, picture this. I was in 6th grade. And I went to this like, I guess you could say like camp or whatever it was one of those leadership camps that you send your kids to and they learn leadership skills and blah, blah, blah. So I went there. This is my first time ever sleeping away because I wasn't allowed to do sleepovers growing up. This is my first time ever sleeping away. It was in DC. My mom, though, she went to college in DC and her best friend still lives in the area. So my mom stayed with her best friend during that time. So it wasn't even like if there was an emergency, my mom would have been like right there. But this is in 6th grade. Anyway. So this is my first, and I honestly, aside from ballet, I was never, so I did ballet and swim team a lot by the 6th grade, and I did basketball, but my mom made me do that, and I did soccer. But I will say the people I did soccer with, I'm pretty sure all of them went to private schools too. The girls I did ballet with, most of them went to public school, but I don't know, we didn't talk. They kind of had a similar upbringing as me, so they were Christian and everything. So like, you know what? Here it is. I had never really even met anyone that was not a Christian at that point. So these are all public school girls that were not. Some of them, I don't even think they were Christian. They could have been like if you ask them right now on paper what religion they identify with, they probably would say Christian, but like not like, my family, my mom worked for a church, we were going to church, we were doing all the things. Like it was more than just like a check box in my family. So that's just, I'm giving that context. So I'm in the room with them, and and I'm so excited because, like, once again, I've never had an experience like this, and I loved, especially when I was younger, I loved meeting new people, and it was just really cool. Like, oh, and everybody was the girls were just so different, and they were like smarter in my head, right? So we were scrolling through the TV, what can we watch? And Mean Girls was on, and I was like, I've never seen Mean Girls. And remember, we're in the 6th grade. Looking back, like, Mean Girls is kind of a lot for a 6th grader, but like they had seen it before. And Mean Girls, I think it came out in 2004. So we were all in the 4th grade when it first came out. So that's even younger. Like, that's a little much. But they're like, oh no, you gotta see Mean Girls. So we watched Mean Girls, and I remember thinking, this movie, like, this is a movie. This is a movie that feels like a movie. Pop culture people know what that's a reference to. I thought the movie was so great. I still do. Any movie that ends with, number one, friendship saving the day will get me, especially now, gets me in immediate tears. If friendship saves the day, you won me 10 times out of 10. It could be the most crappiest movie. Riverdale. That's how Riverdale pretty much ends, kind of, sort of. Friendship saves the day. I'm like weeping. Like, so good. And then if it's one of those, like, there's something in all of us that makes us worthy and important. Oh, you got me. You sold me. Love it. 10 times out of 10. So saw Mean Girls. I absolutely loved it. I told my mom about it, I think, and I don't think she really fully understood. So she was like, okay, whatever. And then eventually we saw it, and she's like, what? You saw this in the 6th grade? I'm like, yeah, I did. Anyway. Funny sometimes. But yeah, so that was my introduction to Mean Girls. I think it's it's iconic. No notes, really. So let me read the article, the reason why I brought this up. So this article is from Variety. It says, Mean Girls reunion, Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Seyfried, and Lacey reprise their roles for Walmart's Black Friday ad blitz. Walmart is trying to make fetch happen. I bet whoever wrote that was like, oh, this is good. The giant retailer hopes to draw new attention to its Black Friday offerings by getting a jump on advertising around the annual holiday shopping event. To call attention to new offers and low prices, Walmart will unveil a series of commercials featuring members of the cast. 2004, I was right. Movie Mean Girls reprising their roles, except now they're adults. The ad launched Wednesday, the day of the plastics from the Mean Girls wear pink, and new iterations surfacing every subsequent Wednesday during the month. Each week, a different member of the cast will appear in an ad in a social post. Walmart wants to get its customers paying earlier attention to a holiday shopping by offering great deals and prices ahead of the actual Black Friday slated to take place October 24th and Cyber Monday scheduled for November 24th and Cyber Monday scheduled for November 27th. Quote, we think fans are going to be super excited to see us after all these years. I know we are excited for everyone to see what we've been up to, says Daniel Franzese. He's the actor who revives his character, Damian Lee, for the campaign. Once again, love. So, Kevin, Damian, Amanda, Lacey, and Lindsay were in it. Notably was Regina, Rachel McAdams, who plays Regina. She was not in it. And all these articles are like, she just said no. She didn't want to. I'm gonna say something that's like, it might be a little controversial. Unless you played like a character that was like Dahmer. Unless you played like a character like that, unless there's just a bunch of crazy, like you went through a lot emotionally during the filming or something like that. And as far as we know, that's not the case. You should, like, I feel like people should be happy and excited and like should jump on things like this. I don't know. I just think like Rachel, like, it's kind of lame and it shows you're a little, I don't know, almost too good to not want to do something like this. Now, let me be honest. Shook, it was Walmart. When I think of shopping for things, I don't think of Walmart. I think of Walmart as a place, it's down the street from my house, that I run to when I can't get anywhere else and I need to grab like random like food stuff. Or I really just shop at Walmart for like the grocery section. Or like I actually got a really nice palette. I'll be honest, a really nice makeup palette from there like a year ago because I needed one as in an emergency. So I think of Walmart as, I don't think Walmart is somewhere like I shop to on purpose. It's more of like, oh, I needed this thing really quick. So I understand, and Walmart has a stigma. If you were on the internet in like the early 2000s, hello people of Walmart, like Walmart has a stigma. So like I get her maybe like initially kind of being like, I don't know if I want to do Walmart. Well, first of all though, I'm sure they got paid buku dollars. Like I have no doubt I mean, $1 million maybe. And here's the thing, Walmart has a lot of money. One of my friends, she used to do like a bunch of things in like Hollywood, like behind the scenes or whatever. And she was explaining how like you'd be surprised. Like she said the companies that have the most money to put toward like ads and like fashion even are like Walmart. Because obviously they just have all the money from the stores and all the things, everything's cheap and they pay people nothing. Anyway, I understand. So like I was shocked when I saw that it was Walmart. I understand like her kind of hesitant, but like everybody, I'm sure they got paid a lot. And like we loved Mean Girls. Like that's such, I can't stand when like, once again, unless it's like a Dahmer type of situation, I can't stand when celebrities don't like the thing that made them famous. And I guess you could say Rachel McAdams has done so much more since Mean Girls for sure. But like Mean Girls is definitely more iconic. Like, I mean, she's done The Notebook, which is really good. And I keep reading somewhere she did The Notebook and Mean Girls in the same year. Iconic. And she did Time Traveler's Wife, and she's done a lot of like really big movies. So I'm not gonna say like Mean Girls is like her best. I mean, to me, Mean Girls is her best. I think The Notebook is good. I don't know. I didn't see it till later on in life, and I was overhyped. Like you guys really hyped this movie up to be like the greatest movie on earth, and it was okay. So, but I don't know. I think that's kind of lame. Like Zac Efron has made numerous comments about how he doesn't think High School Musical was that great, and like I think when he did Hairspray, he said something like, "Oh, it feels good to finally be in a musical that's decent," and then which is like lame. And then in an interview they played like "So Fly" in that song, and he didn't recognize it, and it's like that's kind of rude and lame. And his defense, he didn't sing that song. It was Drew Seeley, which is also, that's very interesting. I wonder why they didn't just hire Drew Seeley to play Zac Efron's part. So for those who don't know, Zac Efron didn't sing in the first movie. It was Drew Seeley. And when they did the High School Musical tour, after the first movie, it wasn't Zac Efron who went on the tour. It was Drew Seeley. So that's interesting. I wonder why he felt. I wonder how that felt, like just using him for his voice. But anyway, so that's really exciting. You guys should see the video. It's so fun because Lacey is like a mom, and Katie, Lacey, who plays Gretchen's the mom. Caddy, is the guidance counselor. Kevin is with his son. Damien is in it. I can't remember. Oh, Damien works for the school too. And then Amanda, who plays Karen, is doing the weather. It's I don't know. Like I saw, I was like, oh, this is so fun. And I wonder if the girls, because obviously, they're redoing the movie for those that don't know, and the girls are Gretchen's daughter are kind of the main character. Like, they're the mean girls. They're not really the main character. The main characters obviously are our original mean girls. The new girls are the main characters. And I wonder if those are the same girls. Like, I wonder if this is like connected in the same universe as the new movie. So like, is this who Katie and Gretchen are they going to be those characters in the new movie? I'm curious. I wonder if it's all connected. I don't know. You should see it if you haven't. It's really fun. Next story. Next pop culture story. I want to talk about, I only have 2 pop culture stories today, and this is the second one. I feel like not a lot happened last week, but no, that was interesting to me at least. This is very interesting though. Kim Kardashian revealed that her daughter North always tells her Kanye is the best parent because he has all things figured out and doesn't need a nanny or a chef. She'll be like, Dad's the best. He has it all figured out. He doesn't have a nanny and he doesn't have a chef. He doesn't have security, Kim said to North. And that is from a BuzzFeed article, which I'll link. So yeah. First of all, kind of weird that she said he doesn't have security, because Kanye probably definitely needs security. And if he doesn't have security, like, she just blasted him on TV. So that's strange. This is from, I guess, the latest episode of The Kardashian Show. I don't hate the Kardashians. I respect that they're businesswomen, I'll tell you that. I mean, how they got there, less than scrupled. But, I mean, where they are now, like, come on. I remember reading this article, and in the article they said something like, Kim did something that very few people have achieved. Her existence makes her money. And I'm like, you know what? I'll give her that. Her existence makes her money. Now, would I want to be that rich? No, that seems awful. And just a side note, like, every birthday party, I just don't get why they have to be so big. You know me, I love a party. So, like, Christmas party. Like, I understand having a huge Christmas party. I'm a birthday girl, so I understand wanting a big birthday party. Like, some of the stuff, they'll, like, rent. Like, they'll have... And also, it's like, is this the only time you're going to use some of this equipment that you buy? Like, is it... Not to be, like, super environmental. I'm not necessarily a sustainable queen or anything, but, like some of this is kind of a waste. I don't know. That's just me. Now, if I had that much money, would I throw those type of elaborate parties? Probably not. But I would throw an elaborate... So I feel like there's like 3 tiers. There's like, 4 tiers. There's like poverty, people who just really don't have it. There's like middle class, I guess you could say. There's elaborate, and then there's like Kardashian level extravagant. I would go from... I'd like to be right above, like, average, I guess, is where I'd rather be. Like, I wouldn't do... Like, I could not... I don't see myself doing as big as parties as they do, but I could do, like, a couple steps under that, which would still be big compared to what I do now type of situation. I just don't get it. But that's just me. Okay, anyway, so back to the extravagance. I think that North saying that just kind of shows, it's a take that almost everybody has. But I am going to take a little spin on it. It shows that kids genuinely do care about spending time with their parents. Like, they don't have a chef, so that means they probably cook together. And kids like that. And, they don't have a nanny, so that means that, like, he is with them. I was gonna say he's watching, but, like, they're his kids. He's not watching the kids. He's spending time with them. So it sounds like he's spending time with them. And I don't know if you saw, she was her dad in the, like, bear costume with the bear head. She was her dad for her Halloween, which is, like, one of her Halloween costumes. She had, like, a bajillion looks. Which is another thing, like, for kids, 1, maybe 2, maybe. They had, like, 4 or 5. That's a little much, but whatever. Not my kids. Not my monkey, not my circus. So she loves her dad. Like, oh, you can tell, like, Northie loves her dad. And I think a lot of it has to do with just like spending time with him, and like he probably is very active and like excited and interested in what she has to say. So, people are like, yeah, that's right. Kids don't care how much money you have. They don't care if you're rich or if you're poor. Well, hold up. Kids probably don't care if you're rich or if you're poor. But let's be honest. Like, one reason why that little narrative started to kind of annoy me. No, like, Kanye lives in an apartment, which is and another part, like, if you see the video or whatever, I'm sure the video is in the article that I'll post. It says something like, she's like, oh, dad has an apartment. I can't believe we don't have an apartment. Okay, you guys, Kanye's apartment is probably like as big as most people's houses. Kanye isn't living in a studio, 1,000 square feet or something like that. So let's be real. That's how people are acting, like, yeah, kids don't need money. Sure, kids don't need money. I'm not going to say that, but like, let's be honest about like what we're talking about. Kids, it's not that kids don't need money, or like the lesson isn't that kids don't need money. The lesson is kids want to spend time with you, and they prefer to have you playing with them instead of a nanny. They prefer to cook with you as opposed to being off by themselves, and then you coming in and then you saying, come on, dinner, and then some person who's not related to them putting food in front of them. Like, that is the lesson, not that kid. Like, please. I've seen pictures of Kanye's apartment. Like, it's not, it's bigger than my house. Like, it's not just an apartment. Like, it's an apartment. Like, it is an apartment, not just an apartment, So that's the only like extra twist. But yeah, I think that just is indicative. And then she was talking to Courtney, and Courtney said something like, yeah, the kids said the same thing about Scott, and I don't really have comments on Scott. But she made the point, like, kids don't like the parent that is more active. And I just don't know if that's true. Like, I think kids just can tell which parent seems to prioritize them. That is something, I'm so blessed to have not, like, both my parents are still together. I think if I'm 28, 30 years, it'll be 31 years in December. They have been together. They don't have kids outside of us two, me and my brother together. And I feel very blessed to have that. So I can't sit here and say how it feels to go through a divorce. But I do have friends who have experienced that. And apparently, from what I have seen, it does appear as if kids, the parent, whoever, however, they prefer the parent or the guardian, however you want to say it, that was just more active, that just cared about them more, that did more with them. It's not necessary. I'm sorry, I didn't mean active. That seemed to be prioritized them more. That wanted to be with them more. And I think that's kind of what it is. Now, this is also outside looking in. I don't know if that's the full case with Kim and Kanye. From the information that we have, that is what I am inferring. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that I'm right on that? Like, let me know. Comments, Spotify, however, Instagram. Let me know. Oh, and yeah, so that's the pop culture segment. Just two interesting stories I thought of happening this week. Let me know if you guys have other things you want me to talk about, pop culture wise, on the email me or like on Instagram or whatever. Let me know. A couple of things I want to. Now I'm going to kind of just like not rant, but just kind of talk a little bit to you guys. Talk about some things. This weekend I was very blessed to get tickets to the Douglas Leadership Institute's conference entitled Our Faith, Our Family, Our Freedom. So the Douglas Institute is named after Frederick Douglass, who was a slave, and then he was free. Beautiful story. You guys should definitely look it up. Maybe I'll do like a lesson, a history lesson on that or something like that. Very, very good. And at the gala, they honored Clarence Henderson, who is a North Carolina Jim. He actually, in the 60s, during Jim Crow, North Carolina was part of segregated South. And there was a restaurant that would not allow Black people to sit at the counter. Him and some of his friends in Greensboro sat at the counter, and they were arrested, and a bunch of other things happened. But he's a grandfather of the civil rights movement. This man has seen like actual racism that is implemented, like institutional racism. I'll put it that way. He has seen institutional racism. Great man. I've met him multiple times. He actually remembered me. And which was really cool. He gave my mom an award. She received an award for what she's done for the community. I want to say last year and everything. Like, wonderful gentleman. Hopefully I'll have him on the pod soon. So they honored him yesterday. Or this weekend at the conference I was in. So, the reason why I bring this up, I think it's really, really important for us, if you can, to attend gatherings of people who are putting faith, family, freedom first. As a Black woman, the conference was for, it was for everybody, but it was focused on the Black community and like, how can we, there's so many things that I don't think we know is going on when it comes to specifically like abortion. So here's a connection that was made that I did not know. African American Black women have the highest rate of breast cancer, and we actually have the highest rate of abortions. So they're thinking that's all connected. And I was texting my friend about this, and she was like, "Oh my God, they're really trying to take us out." And it does, powers that be. I don't know. Statistically, abortion clinics are in Black areas. Like, they purposely put it in low income Black areas. So anyway, my whole point in talking about this conference is I think it's really important for us, if you can, to attend things like this. There's other conferences. There's conferences going on. If you want to, you can probably find a conference once a month. But it's good to attend to learn. I learned a lot. We have 2 guests that will be coming on in the next couple of months that just have amazing source testimonies that are doing so many things. So it's to learn. And here's another thing too. Another reason why I like these conferences and stuff. I went last year and this year. There are people who we don't know that are doing so many things behind the scenes that are literally saving lives, that will get to heaven, and they will meet people who were saved, like that, generations that were started because of them saving lives. We don't even know their names. They don't even have a strong social media presence. There was a gentleman, I wish I had my notes in front of me, who was talking about what he's doing with his church and the families, and just tiny little things he's doing to promote family. They have a wall of babies that are born. He's just subtle things that they're doing to promote family and foster a culture of life, because the end point is on the sidewalk at the abortion facility. There are so many things that can be done, that should be done before we get to that point. And that's part of fostering a community, a culture of life. And he was talking about some of the things that he does, talking about some of the ways that he stood up for women experiencing things, and just some practical things. I remember another conference I went to, a gentleman in Chicago was explaining how there's all these issues that they're having with abortion in the Black community, and one of the excuses is housing. He found a lot of people they were going to be kicked out of their boyfriend's apartment, things like that. And I want us to, because as I'm saying this, I already know some arguments well, they shouldn't have been with that person. There's no excuse, and there is no excuse to have an abortion. But the reality is, there are people who are in situations that we can help with as the church, as believers. We can help people with that. We can help meet their need, and we can help I was gonna say foster them. We can, well, I mean, maybe foster. If it's a child that's under 18, you can maybe foster them, help mentor them to get them in a better mindset, to get them to have a better relationship with God. Like, there's other things we can do. That's one thing that I have noticed a lot. Like, oh, they don't have a house. Well, they shouldn't have an abortion. True. Absolutely true. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. If that's someone's situation, how do we help them though? Like, there just needs to be like this part where we have to also be practical. Let's help people. Let's tell them to stop, and then help, because here's the other thing too. Not everybody knows how to access resources. Not everybody knows what resources are available to them. Not everyone knows. There's people who, perfect example, Monica Klein, who I need to have on the podcast. I cannot believe it. I've been doing this thing for almost 4 years, and Monica's never been on the podcast. That's crazy. I've been on hers. You guys should check it out. Me and Melanie. But I'll never forget this story. Monica was saying that she used to do sex ed for Planned Parenthood, and they were doing she was doing a teaching, and a girl raised her hand and said, asked for advice on how to give oral because she doesn't like it. 8th grade. And Monica was like, well, have you ever thought about not doing it? And the girl, it never occurred to her she didn't have to do it. Okay, there's a disconnect there. Something's wrong. Something's not right. If this 8th grade girl had no idea she didn't have to give a boy oral, so I think there's things that we could do, and I think that's another reason why these type of conferences, these type of conversations we're having are so important to have, so we can discuss how do we get it to so that we don't have to be on the sidewalk. The goal should be all abortion facilities shut down. That's the goal. And then but how do we get there? At the sidewalk, let's go back. So yeah, great conference. Slight plug. There's another conference, in the similar vein. That is February 9th and 10th in Atlanta. You should come. It is going to be great. We're going to hear from a lot of speakers. I'm going to be speaking. I also going to have a booth. Those are the girls. And Christina Minute, who's been on the podcast, is going to be there. Benjamin Watson. Alveda King is going to be there. Great conference. I'll link the website and everything to that as well. Okay. Now on to something that I'm seeing and that I want to combat as a podcast, as a brand, as a human, as an other girl. Okay. There has been a rise in mean girl culture in the conservative movement. I don't know how or why this has happened. Oh, actually, I can kind of guess why. One thing that, as humans, and I'm not perfect, so, I mean, hopefully, I have good friends that will call me out on this, and, I'm working on a relationship with God, so hopefully, I will realize it amongst myself. But once you get to a certain level of notoriety, it's very easy to act out of your character because it's just human nature. I mean, that's a lot of sports players. That's one of the things they say. When someone's been good at sports since they were a child, I mean, God bless them. Couldn't date one. A guy, a famous basketball player that's been the best since he was a kid, could not date one. Could not date one. Unless they've done the work, as Gen C says. Unless they've done the work, would not want to date one. Okay, so I want to say, if we want more women to vote conservatively, if we want more women to be open to the ideas, to listen to us, this facts don't care about feelings has got to go. Is that a true statement? Sure. Is that a statement that's going to get anyone to care about what you have to say? Probably not. Not anymore. I think that initially, this is what I think happened. Initially, that statement was in reference to things that weren't as personal. It was a reference to statistics that, I don't want to say, because statistics aren't offensive. They're just statistics. They're neutral. It was used for statistics that were to prove a specific point. And now facts don't care about, people will be like, you're fat, useless, or you're going to die alone. Facts don't care about feelings. What's your BMI? Facts don't care about your feelings. And, that's not productive. Nobody's going to listen to you. Let me tell you something. I'm not going to listen to you. If you're mean to me, I don't care what you have to say. Like, that's just a fact of the matter. You can share good things. I think that there are some conservative leaders that are making great points, that are speaking the truth, that needs to be heard. But if you're going to say, yeah, and abortion kills babies, abortion is murder, and you're fat, ugly, you're going to die alone, and your uterus smells bad, like, why would someone keep listening to you? That last sentence didn't make sense. But that's how stupid they sound. That's how stupid they sound when they say things. They're the biggest culprit. I guess I'm not hesitating. I'm just trying to figure out, like, how to word things properly so you guys understand what I'm trying to say. And I think, like, the biggest culprit right now is this whole obesity thing. Let me first start off by saying, like, obesity is not a joke. This is not something that I would want to wish on anyone. It absolutely sucks. It's very hard to lose weight. If it was as simple as just don't eat and exercise, don't you think so many people would have done that? Don't you think? Does that mean that people can't? No, it just means it's more complicated than that. Not only that, once you get to a certain weight, like, there's a bajillion reasons why it could be that bad. This whole thing, yeah, the fats. Like, the fats, what? You talking about human beings? I'm sorry, that's just not, talking about people that way, it's just does not fly. And it's not just the podcast I shared on my Instagram story past week. It's other famous people. I'm gonna say, like, Elijah Schaefer is the absolute worst. Candace Owens, awful. That girl that was on that pot, what is that? What? That's how she talks. Like, she's, I don't know, and enough, and like screaming all the time. What is her name? She sells the jewelry. That girl, like, mean. That's just unnecessarily mean. There are so many people who talk maybe, let me back up. Maybe not so many people. But there are people who talk about those topics and, like, can say, this is what, like, stick with this. These are the facts. Like, you don't, I don't know, just call people the facts and, like, tax the fat. Stuff like, that's just, what? Why on earth would anybody listen to you? Let me tell you what it does do. It gets views. It gets engagement. It gets money. I just want some of you guys to just, I'm not above reproach. I guess that's the words I'm looking for. Like, I'm not perfect. Like, I don't want to come off as, like, I am the perfect content creator, and that's why I only have, like, 3,000 followers. No, because if I was a perfect content creator, obviously I'd have more followers. But I do want to say, like, what gets following, what gets engagement is saying things like, the fats, tax the fat. Yeah, and, like, all pregnant women are fat and ugly. Like, that gets people engaging. Like, let's be honest. Like, that gets people engaging. That gets people to listen to, interact, to comment, to listen to whatever you have to say. They'll be angry. You're not going to change anyone's mind. You're going to make people angry. You're not going to change anyone's mind, though. But you will get dollars. And that's why they do it. I just want people to just remind you guys. I'm sure you know that, but that's why they do it. They do it because it gets them money, not because they actually want to change people's minds. And honestly, when you want to change people's minds, you're not going to get as much money. You're just not, because it's more exciting. People like the negative. It's more exciting to be, like, mean, and it's more exciting to, like, say these outlandish, inflammatory things. It's more engagement, which equals more dollars, which equals more money. in their pockets. Not more minds change, no. Because once again, those people that you named, don't listen to them. Or those people that you named, those people I named, don't listen to them. Not interested in what they have to say. Not a fan. I'm not a fan. And we just gotta stop that. Another thing, and it's connected to this altogether. I'm seeing also another trend in our community. In a Facebook group, someone did this. Any woman that is tall, a little heavy, or has a short haircut and just doesn't fit what the stereotypical beauty standard, I'm using quotes, stereotypical beauty standards, because if we're being honest, there are stereotypical beauty standards. If we're being honest, we do know when someone is societally beautiful. Let's be real. And we know if we are not that. You know? Like, if we're honest with ourselves. Does that mean that you aren't beautiful? No, I'm just saying society. Like, society has created these standards, and you know if you fit them and you know if you don't. If it makes anyone feel better, I know that I don't. So, there's that. So I'm seeing people who, for these women, they don't fit them. Everybody assuming that they're trans. And let me say something. That is absolutely cruel. To call a biological woman trans. Not only that, I'm sure that woman also, once again, she doesn't fit the societal standard, so she probably already has other issues and feelings herself. So I just, like, I don't even, like, stop it. If someone is not, like, I just, and I've been saying it a lot, and it's only conservatives doing it. Like, what are we doing? What are you guys? And then all comes to, like, this idea, like, there's nothing wrong with beauty. There's nothing wrong with looking cute. There's nothing wrong with dressing nice. I like to think that I dress nice. I just think that I look cute, and there's times that I think I look beautiful. There's nothing wrong with that. No one's against that. I'm against treating people differently because they don't fit that. And that is something that has started and has become rampant in the community. And that is something that stops at those are the girls. Like, you're not gonna get that from me. I will be having some people on to talk a little bit more about nutrition and, like, health. I've wanted to have people on, and they've ghosted me for various reasons. But I want to have people on to talk about that beauty, health, wellness, because I think these things are beautiful and they're important. There's nothing wrong with them. So I'm not against that. I'm against treating people differently because they don't fit the quote unquote societal standards. And it happens. And if you have felt as if that has happened to you, you have a place for those other girls. I don't care about if you have a fashionable haircut, if you're extra tall for a girl, if you're extra skinny for a girl, if you're extra fat for a girl. Like, I do not care. You're still a human being. You still have value. The things you have to say still matter. And if we as humans could look, especially Christians, if we could look at each other that way, we could treat each other that way, and we can remember that, like, you know what, this person is not doing or saying things the way I would, because not even, this person does not look the way I would look if I could, blah, blah, blah. They're still valuable. If we could do that, I mean, how different would society be? How many more friendships would you have? Because that's actually, like, so I've done a lot of research on, like, how life is better when you lose weight, you know, especially when I'm, like, anyway, I've done a lot of research on that. And one of the top things is, like, they always say, like, people treat them differently. Their friends, their co-workers, sometimes even their spouse treats them differently. Strangers treat them differently. They were invisible before, now they're not. Now that they've lost weight and they're more societally attractive. So imagine people who probably miss out on being their friend, because the people are probably, you know, decent human beings. At this point, they probably have more compassion. Think about people who could have missed out on having a good friend, a good relationship, because they decided to judge someone based off of their societal beauty standards. Now, I also want to say, because some people, oh, well, we shouldn't have to date people. No, I'm not talking about dating. Do not date someone you don't find attractive, because that's not fair to the other person. As someone who that happened to, like, that hurt. So if you don't find someone attractive, like, just don't date them. Because if you try to fake it and then you decide you don't, like, that's going to hurt their feelings. But hold on the conversation. All this to say, here, those are the girls. You are welcome. I do not care about societal beauty standards. Boo, blah, who cares? You are a human being. You have value. You are valuable. Treat people with kindness. Always tell the truth. So, truth. Abortion is murder. Stop right there. You don't have to go, abortion is murder and your mama's a hoe. Like, that's not necessary. So always be the truth in grace and in love. That is what we care about here. Speaking of which, to wrap this all up, March for Life this year, we're going to get an Airbnb. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to open it up. Probably will be 21 plus, just because I just think that will just work better, especially because some of us might be strangers. And I'm new to all this. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do a tea party. I'm gonna figure out how to do the tea party. I don't know if we're gonna do the tea party at the Airbnb, if we're gonna do the tea party like at a hotel in one of the conference rooms. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. But keep that weekend open. Let me know if you think it's better on if we should do the tea party Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. The actual March is that Friday. That Friday, if you are going to the march and you don't have anyone to go with, you are welcome to walk with us. If you do not have anyone to go with, and you want to go, and this is the whole purpose. So the get together we're going to do, like, we're going to do a meetup, and I want to try to even do not a conference, but like a little small, like, we'll do the tea party, and then I do want people to have like maybe 1 or 2 speakers just to kind of talk about, like, how do you take the excitement you feel, how do you take the encouragement you feel, how do you take that back to your community? If you have never been before, if you just started started getting into pro-life, or if you're going by yourself, this is for you. So I'll keep you guys posted. Let me know, like, some things that you're thinking, ideas you have. I want it to be almost like a group effort, but obviously I'll be in charge because there needs to be a point person. That'll be me. But, like, let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like, review, subscribe, however you can, or whatever app you can. Let me know if you like this format of me just, like, chit-chatting. Or if you're like, no, you really need, like, to be really good and funny, you need someone else. Like, not to be, like, tell me, like, don't be mean about it, because, like, I'll take it personally either way. But it'll feel better if you, like, say it and, like, yeah, girl, you did great, but it is typically better when you have someone else. Like, that's okay. Like, if that's the truth, that's the truth. But just be nice about it. Don't be like, oh no, you absolutely suck by yourself. Boo, tomato. Let me know. I guess that's it. Have a great night, day, evening, however, wherever you're listening to. Bye.